Remember that song? Welcome back, Kotter. Welcome back, Kotter. Oh, it goes way back. I date myself. Okay, so I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make a hat out of this piece of wood for for my snowman. Dude. Okay, so ignore the noise. I don't know if you can hear me or not. I tried setting some stuff and I still don't know. Okay, I'm not gonna wear that thing right now. It's too hot. Okay, so only thing is I gotta keep it clean. The only thing about shops, and you have train sets down there too. My trains are in the other room. It gets kind of messy. So here's what I'm doing. Here's what I'm doing. Okay, so I figure about that big, right? Where's my... So, do I want to make a short, stubby one, or do I want to make a tall one? See, this one I'm going to probably take one out in the middle. So, what I'm going to do... All right. Now, first off, I'm going to start with this. I love this. It's a CI4. And one of my better tools. I mean, my tools are getting kind of dull though, so I'm going to sharpen them one of these days. Oh, I'm going to do this. All right. So, so what I'm going to do now though is I'm going to use this as the bottom because I'm going to carve that out later on the drill press a little bit. But I want to, this is going to be the top. You see how offset it is, right? That's just the log. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to carve right here. So now here's the trick. You see, you can't see it here. All right, this thing is kind of at an angle, right? So you can move it back and forth if you want, or not want. The idea is to be unusual. So the trick though is how thick or how thin you want it. So I think right about there is good. That doesn't sound good for some reason. I think it sounds like, don't know if it's this. Anyway, so you can see there's a difference here and there's a difference here. See the difference in the very thickness from the bottom. But that's what you want to be unusual, right? So So what I want to do now, I don't know what that noise is, weird. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to clear this bottom part out. So I use this for this. The CI tool. Okay, so I've carved that a little bit out. See, this is unusual, right? So what I want to do is I want to make something that's unusual. And so right now, that seems to be okay the way it is. I like that, right? So what I might just do is take this off. Well, that's the other thing I could tell you is that I've got one of these. I got a couple of these. All right, and these work out great for getting inside since, and I don't know if this is left hand or right hand, but this is kind of what I was doing. Now what I did is I carved a little bit of a bowl in here, and that's kind of what I want. So, but here's a trick. Okay, so you want to do that, right? So you have to make that a little bit wider, but you want it. So I'm gonna have to take this on the drill press. I try not to, but I'm gonna have to. Now I've got that about where I want it. So the idea here is I don't want to have to mess around with it too much. So I'm going to try and do something here. Okay, so many of you guys know what this is. This is a coping saw. This is a coping saw. So then you come, I'm coping with it. I'm coping with it. Now you can save this for another hat, see? So now I got to take this up on a drill press. Okay, so now the idea is to concave this, right? So I don't know if I could put this on my chuck and be able to do that. I could probably do that, but I have to change the blades on. But here you go. Okay, so the idea is to make something unusual, right? So I left that little knot in there. See that? And the idea is to make something unusual. Now, it's up to you which way you want to lean the hat. You know, sometimes people leave it like that. I made it so I could do that. So what I'll probably do, after I round that out, it looks pretty cool. That looks pretty cool, don't you think? Well, you can't see it, can you? So, Jeff. Anyway. That was not right. So what I normally do is I concave the inside of this a little bit, right? And I'll take it over there on the drill press and do that. But the big deal is then I'll drill a hole here and there's a screw I can put in here, double-sided screw. So depending on which way you want it to go. And when I concave this in a little bit, it's kind of nice because what happens is you could set it in here. I don't have to cut this. There's a lot of people who like to cut the heads, and I have to get opinions of which way this should go. So I kind of like it, like that, but you just fool with it. See, the idea is, and this you could do this on a miter saw too. You could cut the angles when you when you take the branch and you cut them like this. You could cut it to the point where, see, it leans, right? So it leans. You could do your snowman like that too. It's offset turning. I like doing branches. And what I usually do is a lot of times I'll take this off. And I could take it over in my drum sander and sand it off. You don't want to try and use this on, take it off with a saw. It'd be too dangerous. So, and I like things that have arches to it because you actually, what I would probably do is cut it here and cut it here and make it something about the same size. Now you got thickness here at the bottom and you got skinny stuff at the top. So now you got to allow for that. If you're gonna design a snowman like this, see, do you want the bottom long or small? See, I've got to sand all this, so you have to ignore a little bit of that. And I'll put it on here and probably sand it some. But here's the other thing too. You want bark on, you want bark off, And that'll determine what you're going to use for it. Now, this would make a good Christmas tree too, the same way. You could do the same thing, and you could just arc it like I did here. This one's got kind of an arc to it too. So it actually leans a little bit to one side. You see the difference in offset turning. These are easy to make and they're fun. If you're just learning how to use your tool, this is a good way your lathe. This is a good thing to make for Christmas. You can make all kinds of stuff. I've tried making little ones for hanging on a Christmas tree. The only thing I can advise you is get some wood that's light. If you want to do it, the simple ones and paint it, you could just get pine pieces. You get a 2x4 and cut it in half, and you could turn those and make mini snowmen for Christmas trees and put a little hook on it and hang it. Use your imagination. You could do the same thing with Christmas trees. And here's another one. Okay, so when I'm cutting, I try not to get rid of, and this, I recycle everything I do. This is a cut-offs on a corner from a piece of wood I turned a while ago from an old bowl. Okay, so what you could do with this is I glued it, right? So if you wanted to use it, you can make a little, you can make all kinds of stuff. You can make a ball out of it. You can make, but I can, or you can use it for pins. This is the right size for pins. You just have to drill a hole through the middle of it. With a pin, all you need is an inch and a half by inch and a half to make a pin, whatever. This, I could turn this to a mini hat if I wanted to. You can make all kinds of stuff. It's just an idea, I don't really get rid of too many. This is my hang up though, is this stuff. If it's good wood, I usually try to save as much as I can. I hate throwing stuff out. This is walnut. I had some coal wood I threw out because it was too punky. I couldn't really work with it. So now the other thing is too, stars. Okay, so I like to make these little stars. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And they're kind of funky. All right, so this one here, not exactly the best. So this one here might be working. See, my skills on some of the tools are kind of sucky. Now, you could do this, right? I just use, I don't even know what I'm saying. It's kind of crappy, you know. I had this piece of wood at one time, and I don't know what happened to it, but it was a funky piece of wood. I thought, well, hey man, I can make some. But the idea is, you make something. A lot of times, I'll make them where the one arm is longer than the other, like it's going like that, you know. So there you go, something like that. Okay, so now what I normally do is, I'll get a better one. Okay, say this is what I'm going to put on there. Let's see, that's too thick too. I would drill a hole in the middle, a really small hole, like a 1/16 of an inch, right? And then I take a finish nail, and I've got a bunch. They're about this long. And what I do is I cut it off. I cut the head off because it's thicker, and then I'll drill a hole in here. And what I'll do is I'll glue both ends until it sits on here like this. My problem, my skills on my bandsaw are kind of terrible. Some of the wood I got that I planed down, I try to use that, but obviously these things are kind of crap. So I don't even know why I'm saving it. So what I usually do, okay, so something like this, for instance. I'll take this piece of oak, and I'll try and use that as stars. The problem is, the harder the wood, the harder it is for you to use on a bandsaw. And I didn't change my blade, so I kind of, or you can use this stuff. Now, the problem with this is you can't really, I don't know if you can drill a hole in it and make it work. You know what I mean? So I kind of hesitate to go away from this, because what happens then, I have to glue it. So now you have to get something smaller than some of the finish nails. And for me to drill a hole in this and do this would be kind of hard. Doesn't mean I won't try it. So I prefer to use something this size, a little bit skinnier, but unfortunately my thickness planer won't get down far enough. I can't get down to a wafer. What I need to do is, I think this is like a 3/8 of an inch. I need to go down to a quarter, at least. You know, something like this. This is pine. This is probably, this one, because it's got color. Now, here's the other thing. People don't like to use pine for a lot of stuff, but when you get color like this in it, then it works. So, I don't know if you guys can hear me or not, so just let me know. Anyway, this is what I'm going to do next. But in the meantime, I'm going to do this. See that? Now I'm going to try and groove something in here a little bit. Bear with me. Smoker bar. I was thinking about making a Smokey Bear hat. You ever seen somebody trying to make a Smokey Bear hat out of wood? It might be kind of funky looking, but anyway. Oh, by the way, what kind of saw is this? So, throwing this, what kind of saw is this? Okay, so now I'm going to use this. Yeah, it's not going to work the way I want it. So I'm going to have to do the grinding on though. That'll be okay though. So we'll go over here. Over here. I don't remember where all my stuff is. Okay, this is 180. 180 here. This one's kind of wore out, so we'll do this. Oh, look at that. See, that's the way my luck is. Now I got this about as good as I'm going to get it. So now let's go here. I love this machine. It's the oldest one I've got. My handy dandy. It still works, although it's it's turned into a kind of a storage bin. But okay, so I have to. I think this is 1975, 76. I don't know. I gotta clean this thing. It's a mess. Okay, so that's kind of, now I go clean it up. Well, wait a minute, I gotta do a little bit more. Okay, so now I just cleaned it up on the other saw, on the other, here we go. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean it up on here. So you see how that kind of does what it does. I'm not having luck with these sanders. I used to have one and it broke and I can't find it. That's the problem with having old tools. The new stuff is crap. So you gotta kind of make your own. One day I'm just gonna spend a whole entire week working on stuff. Okay, so now, you see how that is? So, now, you see how that is, right? I can put that hat anywhere I want, right? So that's the idea. So that right there has to be sanded down a little bit more. Okay, so what I do now is like that. And so, anyway, it concaves it. So you can move it around. Okay? So, at the end of the day, got yourself a snowman. See? And then you got one more thing you got to do. Or actually two more, but okay, so you see this? All right. You see that? Anybody see that? Everybody see that? Yeah, yeah. Okay, so then what you do is you drill a hole in the middle. You already got a hole there, and that's how you do this. You want to wait until you get everything sanded down and finished right before you do it, because don't do it ahead of time. All right. Now, I thought about this. I could make 2 or 3 different styles of hats. So I can make them tall and skinnier. Can make them fatter. Excuse me, I've made a whole entire family out of this stuff. At Christmas time, I got one that's 14 inches, 15 inches tall. I made a family. There's a Mr. and a Mrs. and a Junior. And it goes up on my mantle. So this Christmas, I'll take a picture of it and I'll show you guys. But I love doing this stuff. It's not perfect. I'm not there to make raw wood. See, that's the problem. You can make something like this with a Christmas tree and make it out of raw wood and just go like this. I could do that in 10 minutes. You know, trying to be different. I tell people this when I'm teaching people, okay? Be creative. Do something that nobody else has done, all right? Do something that's you. I'm not the best guy when it comes to the perfect turner. I should be calling myself the imperfect turner, because I am. I mean, I learn off my buddies in my club and other people, and there's some great people out there, but that's their style. This is my style. And a good example of this. All right. See, this is ash, and I'm going to turn it. The problem with this ash is I love grain. I'm a big grain fan. My background's in forestry, so I stick with the grain part. The problem with this is it's too blasé. It has great grain in it, but it doesn't sparkle. So this one could be one you can put rings around it and do carving. This one would be a great one for carving, even if it's the whole thing. For really good at carving. So um, this one here, it's actually a repair job, but this is walnut, and I actually had to carve like this, which is fine. But here's the problem with this: find an implement that you can sand this with, both inside and outside. It's impossible to sand this without leaving marks on this, and that's the problem I have right here. Is that I didn't sand it good enough, so I had to refinish this again. This is a piece of walnut I got from my friend Gerald Vance up in Appalachian Hills, in the Appalachian Heritage Wood Shop. Check him out. This guy is awesome. If you want to really learn different kinds of woodworking, that's him. I wish I could spend some more time with him. He was great. I did last year. This year is kind of weird. So anyway, when you're making stuff, use your imagination. Wow, this thing split. You see this? You see how it's split? It's firewood. I wouldn't turn this. Unfortunately, I think I let it set too long or something. I don't know. It's okay. So what I got in here. Okay, so this is that same wood. Same wood. Okay, only is I saw it splitting, but what I did is I turned it to a core and I put anchor seal on it. It split right there a little bit. I could probably turn it, but here's the thing: when I measured this, it had like 20 some odd percent moisture in it. So it's been sitting in my kiln, just sitting there, not with the light on. Sometimes I turn it on, sometimes I turn it off. So preferably, I've got to get a different way of drying things. So anyway, it's enough from the Dutchman's Wood Shack. Look me up, leave me a message. Let me know what you guys think. I tried to work on my sound. I don't know if I'm getting sound out to you guys or not. I couldn't find a sound adjustment on there. And I don't know. So I think it's YouTube because it doesn't do that on anything else. YouTube is kind of screwing with me, by the way. I can't do it on my phone. So the only thing I could do is the Train World. So anyway, look me up, the Train World. Oh, you can hear me. Oh, thank you. Hey, David, I'm glad to hear from you guys. Nobody, I'm sitting here looking at, and I'm not getting any subscribers. So that's the same thing with the Dutchmans, with the Train World. So the trains, okay, so here's the thing. I said on my videos, what's going on. The problem is I have to sit down and look back. I have all this paperwork. I put that train together, track on there, probably 10 years ago. I have no clue where the wires go. And at some point, I think I'm going to have to take and redo the wiring on the main track itself, because I've got a short somewhere and I don't know where it's at. So I'm starting to pull everything apart. The switches are my main issue. So I'm almost ready to just break down and get manual switches. I've been doing manual switches myself for a long time because they haven't been hooked up. The second I hook it up, I get a short and nothing works. So there you go. Anyway, I'm going to get off. I'm going to go get something to drink. And maybe this afternoon or this evening, I'll be back on the Train World. But look for me in the future to make different things on here. Um, I'm going to start doing that as Christmas time is coming up, holidays, and I want to make, well, I'll show you how to make an easy Christmas tree. Um, but y'all that turn, you probably already know that, but I'll do several different trees. I'll do a bark one, a non-bark one, and I might even do a resin tree. I've been known to do resin work. My crock pot's right here, and I want to get back into that. So I'm going to try something different this year. I did have a um, pine cone in one of them, or a couple of them. They didn't turn out right. So this year it's going to be different. I'm going to try something different and see what happens. Anyway, you guys have a great holiday weekend. And this Dutchman's Wood Shack here, feel free to pass me on. And I'm pretty loose knit when it comes to doing stuff. I'm not a Cindy Drozda. I'm not a Kelly Dunn or all those professionals. I just go out and have fun. I'm kind of the backyard turner. So I should change my name to the backyard turner. Anyway, and then, you know, my whole thing is to show you guys and just have fun. Anyway, and I'm a crafter, so I should be Jeff's Crafting Corner too. Anyway, you guys have a great night, a great afternoon, and the rest of the weekend. And again, if you're not making sawdust, you're not being creative, so get with the program and do something. Thanks for watching.